Yo, this is AngryDax, and today I've been noticing a lot of things in the kingdom that I haven't really liked. And the main thing is I've been seeing a lot of our T4 players have been being looked down upon by some of the T5 players, and they've been called weak, useless, and pathetic just because they haven't unlocked T5 troops. And these are even fighters, but they're still being looked down upon. Today, I want to challenge that idea because the truth is having a T5 troops does not automatically make you a great player. A strong T4 player with good commanders, good equipment, good technology, good game knowledge can still be a huge asset to a kingdom and sometimes stronger than a T5. So today I'm going to prove that T4 deserve respect, and I'm going to stand up for who are often overlooked, the T4 players. And by the end of this video, you might actually think twice before judging your little T4 player in your kingdom. So there are many benefits to T5s, and we're going to go through them real quick. Stronger troops. If you look at just what T5s get, they get so much more stats, so much more troops. So why am I saying that this is better than this? This obviously has better stats. It has better power. It's obviously going to trade better. So why am I saying that a T4 player, a good, well-built T4 player, can outperform a T5 player? Well, this especially goes to the early game. The early game, you can only focus on a couple things, and T4 are powerhouses in the early game, but even in the late game, the T4s can be powerhouses, and you'll see in a little bit. So T4 players, if they have QSH and Sun Tzu and all them, all of a sudden they're starting to trade better. Where T5 players, if they don't have these commanders set up, let's say they have them at 5551 and Sun Tzu at like 5551 as well, and they're fighting with that, well, all of a sudden they're losing all those stats. So all those stats where they thought they were doing well with, because look they have the shiny new troop. Well, all that goes away when you do that. All of it. Because those commanders are that much more valuable. If you do not focus commanders in the early game and VIP level, and you focus T5 troops, you easily can be passed by these T4 players. On top of that, a steady T4 player who's on consistently, fighting consistently, and really just keeping up with the kingdom is so much more valuable than any kind of T5 player. I've seen so many T5 players that they go into the equipment, for example, and they don't even have a full gold set. They have like everything but a purple piece here, a purple piece here. That's dead weight. Those T5 players are essentially completely dead weight because they're trying to fight as a T5 player when they're not even ready to move into that category. If you don't at least have 2 armies, you become dead weight if you are a T5 player. T4 players, they can get away with 1 army. In fact, they should focus that 1 army, make it as buff as possible, and fight with it. T5 players can't do that. They don't have the luxury. They should be fighting with multiple armies at almost all times. On top of that, the next thing I would like to point out is that T5 players, generally, their resources go down astronomically. Now, I'm not going to speed it up here because I have troops training, but the resource cost for gold goes up about 10-fold, and other resources go up by about 2-fold. So we're talking about a ton more gold, about 500,000 compared to about 200,000 when it comes to wood and food. And you might think, hey, that's not that big of a deal. I mean, in general, the resources are going up, but my trades are getting better, which is true. But the type of resources changes. In the beginning, when you're T4, even not even in the beginning, T4 players can get away with just having a bunch of food, wood, and stone, and not much gold. Because gold isn't that valuable. It's really not. For T4 players, they can fight all day long because they can just make farm accounts, get them to like level 3 or 4 CH, and immediately just start farming with them and then forget about them. Why? Because they don't have to worry about it. Right off the bat, you unlock food and wood, and then if you need a little bit of stone, you progress a little bit longer, and you get the stone real quick and easy. Gold is another whole issue. You got to be like CH 22 or something like that, or 21 or something like that. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head. However, you have to be a higher CH. So all that time, what you would be doing to make your farms progressing, that's all time wasted, but you could be doing it on different things, on more valuable things, on more important things than just focusing on gold. So your focus for a T5 player goes away from food, wood, and stone and focuses on gold, a harder resource to gather. In fact, it doesn't just go up a little bit, it goes up tenfold. And you can still get good trades as a T4 player. You can't put them down for that. However, T5 players, they're like, oh, okay, look it, I can get these crazy trades. Like, this is awesome. Well, yes, this is true, right? Let me show you some reports when I was a T4 player. Because it's been a little bit, because I did do a full KVK. But here's KVK 1. Guys, this is T4. I'm versing T5. And this is the kind of trades I was getting. Here's another one. T4 versus T5. Another one. T4 versus T5. I'm a T4 player. An absolute T4 player. And I'm beating T5. Why? Because my account was built correctly. If it's not built correctly, you will fall apart quickly. This was before Sun Tzu came out in BQ. This is T4. I'm getting 4.4 million KP to 500,000. This is all T4. And this is my point. This happens so often. So often we had these kind of trades, and this is just building an account well. If you do not build an account well, these trades won't happen. They'll just fall. You just won't trade well. Like, of course you're going to get a couple bad trades, but you can take it. You see, if you look at this report, right, you might think at first, hey, look at the KP is different. You're right. I got twice the 7 wounds. Isn't that crazy, right? Think about it this way, though. For every 1, for him, he has to multiply it by 10. For every 1, I'm multiplying it by 1. So, in the end, his gold cost is still 5 times higher than mine. That's the difference here, guys. It's the gold. It's the gold. It adds up quickly. So this is what I'm talking about. So often T4s are looked down upon. And there are certain things that T5s are better at doing. T5s generally have higher stats. What does that mean? They're able to stay in the field longer. They're able to fight longer, and they're able to garrison and rally flags. If you're not a garrison and rally leader, and by the way, you shouldn't be a garrison rally leader unless you have at least a complete gold set and maybe more than that. I mean, honestly, VIP 17, I believe, is almost a must-have for garrison and rally, and it's incredibly important, right? But if you're not doing those kind of things and your account isn't progressed to there, don't become T5. It's not worth it. Your account, not only will your kingdom expect more out of you, but you will expect more out of you. All the things what you expected to happen won't work if your account isn't built right and you have when you're T4 to do so. Longer time in T4 means you are better off in the long run. Let me give you an example. This AOO, we didn't do so well. Part of it was my fault because I, as a T5 player, was made to carry. I am supposed to carry because T5 player has the ability to do so. Instead of focusing objectives, I messed up. I focused on the wrong things. And so we were, now, there was other reasons for AOO, as if you look back in the videos, you can see that. But all that responsibility is on the T5 players and me. There are some T5 players who didn't show up, and they won't be coming back to it, because that's how important T5 players are in events. Non-T5 players, it doesn't matter as much. It's not that they don't matter. They matter like crazy, but it's that the responsibility of that is not on them as much. Even when it comes to expectations for KVK, so many times we talk about how good T5 players are in KVK, and they can hold, yes, they are. But T4 players can have a better and higher outcome than T5 players by just fighting and building their account correctly. I've seen T5 players struggle to get 100 million KP during a KVK. That's it. That's all. And they're struggling because their accounts aren't built right and they're falling apart. And then 2 seconds later, I've seen a T4 player in the same KVK, in the same fighting, and they're in the same ball. And they're coming out with 500,000. Or, I'm sorry, 500 million. 500 million. Not 500,000, 500 million KP. How are they trading 5-1 compared to the T5 player? Because their account is built right. The T5 player can stay on the field longer. The T4 player, less on the field, yes, but they are trading better because their account is built correctly. On top of that, I would even venture to say that if you boost and you use an expansion boost, a 50%, because everybody's going to use 25. If you're a T4 player and you're active all the time, you can get a bunch of these 50s. Just in general, there's events and it's very easy to do. If you are getting these are more valuable than becoming a T5 player. And that's crazy. Holy cow. For goodness sakes, I am saying that the thing what everybody's been going after, the T5 player, it's basically a permanent boost. This is almost the same thing. You almost get the same boost with this as than the T5 because of how many troops you add to your army. And you're fighting with more, you're doing more. And even if your army gets wiped out, you still will take less losses than the T5 player who's getting destroyed. If a T5 player gets destroyed, their hospital, it doesn't even fill up as quickly. But the cost, this cost is so astronomically high, it's not even funny. Last KVK, I spent about 10 billion resources on healing, which isn't really that much, really, compared to some. That compared, though, to the KVK before, which I had a little less KP, and this is true, but I was T4. It went from 1.5 or almost 2 billion resources to 10. That's the difference in resource cost. So, what am I saying? Is it worth being a T5 player? Yes, if you know what you're doing. If you've built up your account as a T4 player, if you've taken your time as a T4 player and built up your armaments, built up your equipment, especially equipment. Armaments will come with time. Equipment, if your equipment is not set up, don't go become a T5 player. Not only are you just not helpful, you're dead weight. You become dead weight. As soon as you cross the threshold from T4 to T5, you go from one of the strongest T4s in the kingdom to dead weight, if you haven't built correctly. And that's the difference. So what will I leave it with? What will I leave you with? Well, T4 players are extremely valuable. And to look down on them not only is an insult to them, it's an insult to you. And it shows that you truly don't understand the stats and the statistics about it. Because those troops, those players are more valuable than you would ever expect. In fact, those T4 players can do more damage than some, if not most, T5 players. Why? Because they're smart. Because they know what they're doing, because they did their research, and they're progressing at a reasonable pace so that they can get everything done at the same time. So look at your T4 players. Encourage them. Those players are key. They are the most important players in your kingdom. Your rallies and garrisons will come with time. They'll all build up with the progression of everybody's account and building and getting stronger. But a T4 player at the core root is a strong individual who's growing and understanding the game, and those are the most valuable players in your entire kingdom. Without further ado, I hope you all enjoy this video. And if you disagree with me, leave it in the comments. Argue about it. Have a discussion. Because this is it's something I am very passionate about. Because T4 players are never to be looked down upon, especially for just being T4. So without further ado, this is Angry Drax Gaming. Have a wonderful night. Peace out.